Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Dropping into
Hello.
Happiness. We are your hosts. I am Rachel.
And I'm
And
Maggie.
today we have a third person. So if you're on our YouTube watching, you can see that there is another face in the screen today. And this is my friend Madison. Hi, Madison.
Hello. So happy to
So
be here.
Madison is I told you guys last week she was gonna be here. So Madison is here. She has her own little company called Health Never Ceasing. And Madison's gonna get nutritional on us today. Okay. We're gonna talk about foods, but not just foods, like what foods can do for us. So we don't really have any announcements or anything today. And I'm kind of glad because I really just want to hop on into this topic. So I didn't tell you guys last week like what Madison's actual title is because I'm gonna tell you right now. It's very long and I don't know. I know what she does, but I don't know how to explain it. So Madison, would you like to explain to everybody what you do?
Absolutely. So it definitely is a long title. You are not wrong there. My full title is Functional Nutritional Therapy Practitioner, but usually I just tell people I'm a functional nutritionist, so
Yes.
more holistic nutritionist. So I graduated school 2020, and then that same year I started my private practice where essentially I just help individuals heal from unwanted symptoms or health issues that they're experiencing using that functional holistic nutrition approach and lifestyle adjustments. And so there's been incredible transformations that I've seen with this approach. It's awesome to see how they've gone to the doctors, maybe haven't found
Yeah.
an answer, and when we just get to the root cause, we address it with food and with some supplementation maybe for the healing process, like the body will heal. It's incredible
Oh
to
yeah.
see. So I love what I do. It's been
I
really
as
really
a
awesome.
WW coach, I don't know if Maggie noticed that, but I had seen members who had started from day one and they're like, oh well, I have this and this ailment, and then a year later be like, hey, guess what, I no longer have
Mm,
these symptoms, I'm no longer on medication for this, because they were healing with food, which seems wild, especially when we're
yeah,
talking about like losing weight or health and wellness. It's like, I need you to eat, and that's never the answer
totally.
people expect to hear from us. So it's like, I need you to eat more, but I need you to eat more of the nutritionally dense
Mm,
stuff. So, guys, I have asked Madison to
yes,
give us some of
yes,
her
I love
top
that.
tricks and tips and things that she sees that could be very easily adaptable for some of us. Because I know sometimes when we think about, oh, well, I want to eat better. What does that mean? Oh, I want to eat more fruits and veggies. What does that look like? And why? What is the benefit of that? So that's what Madison's going to kind of go over with us today. Maggie, did you have any questions for Madison before she hops
Yeah.
in, or are you just here for the ride?
I'm definitely here for the ride, and I think I'll have some questions along the way as I get to hear more about just the functional holistic aspect, because I have learned through WW the benefit of nutrient dense foods, and I've definitely shifted my perspective on looking at how things can sustain me or how they can give me energy for my activity. But I'm excited to hear more about what that the functional holistic aspect really looks
Me
like
too.
through the nutrient dense
Okay, so
food.
Madison, when
So
you
that's
first
cool.
start with a new client and you're thinking of things that you'd like them to maybe integrate into their life, what are some of the things that you like to recommend?
Yeah, so honestly, first and foremost, what we'll look at is
Oh,
digestion, how their digestion is working. My process is I don't diagnose or anything like that, but that's not within my scope of practice. But I'll start with people, looking at their health history and then looking at the symptoms that they're experiencing, and that helps me to assess where there's imbalances in the body. And a lot of times, digestion is
interesting.
imbalanced, and sometimes, yeah, I would probably say honestly 99% of the people that I've worked with have digestive
Maggie's raising her
dysfunction.
hand.
And
I already have a
whether you have
question. I
symptoms,
already have a question. I knew it was
ask
coming.
it.
My question was, what are signs of someone who does have an effective digestive system? Because now I'm like wondering, I'm like, am I one of the which percentage am I? Because
Right?
I think things are going well, but who knows?
Totally. No, I hear you. And it's funny because now that you say that, a lot of people will actually, when I tell them, hey, digestion is imbalanced, they're like, oh, but I go to the bathroom regularly.
Mm,
Oh, but I wake up fine. I don't have, my stomach doesn't hurt. And I'm like, I know, but there are other symptoms
mhm.
that tell me
Oh,
that it's off. So, um, essentially digestive imbalance can look like anything between bloating, um, belching or gas
oh,
after eating, having acid reflux,
Mhm.
being sleepy after meals. You don't want to eat breakfast,
Right.
irregular bowel
yeah.
movements. Yeah, there's, or even like down to your fingernails. Fingernails chipping or breaking easily, that's a sign
I
of
did not know
digestive
that.
dysfunction. Um, yeah.
Interesting.
So it's actually very fascinating. And a lot of times when I work with people and they fill out the questionnaire that I give them, they're like, I had no idea that this symptom was related to my nutrition. But ultimately, a lot of symptoms
I mean,
truly
that you
are.
are what you
So
eat has been
it's
a
amazing.
saying for as long as I know, and we
Yeah.
truly are. Like you said, everything down to your fingernails, your eyelashes.
Yes.
We have to build that and process
Yep.
that and create this with our body. So if you're fueling it with
Yep.
the low grade gas and it's just not hitting it, like maybe we need to get up to the premium. And by premium, I mean some nutritionally dense food.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You're so right about that. And it's truly like about knowing what to eat for your
Yes.
body too. I think that there's so much conflicting information out there. You Google something and there's like 43
Yeah.
different answers, and you say, well, what am I supposed to do? Right. But it truly, I also like to say, like you said, you are what you eat. In terms of digestion, I always think you are what you
Ooh.
absorb too. Like you have to be
Yes.
absorbing those nutrients for them to have that full effect. So, um, yeah, I
Okay,
love
so
that you said that.
what is something we should absorb? Like what is one of the things that could really help us with that digestive health?
Yeah. Yeah. So really, making sure there are some foods that are awesome for gut health specifically. So fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, things like that really feed the gut with good bacteria. So we have good and bad bacteria. Bad bacteria can grow and it can kind of like fester and take over the gut. So, a lot of times when I work with people, we need to work to kill that off and then replenish with the good bacteria. So, that looks like a probiotic, fermented foods, like I said. Um, Things like kombucha too, which is fermented, but you
What
want to
about the
watch the sugar
yogurt? I know
content.
I just because that whole Activia commercial pops in my head. So like cuz those active cultures, is that something else? And maybe even Greek yogurt, is that recommended? Ah,
Yes. Yes, Greek yogurt. I would look though, this is something that I always tell people, and you do what you can, right? But look for
mhm.
quality. You want to be having, let's say it's yogurt, for instance, a full fat, because, a lot of times people are like, oh no, you need low fat, all of that. But the full fat, and you eat it in moderation, the full fat is something that is going to supply your body with healthy fat that then sustains you throughout the day, sustains your energy, sustains your mood, your blood sugar, all of that. So, those foods are super good for the gut. Bone broth, so good for the gut, has a ton of nutrients
That
in it.
I swear I know another word other than interesting. I think I've said it like 7 times already, but I'm like so into this. I'm like, "What?"
Well, yeah, I
It's
mean,
amazing.
I know it's fun now that Rachel and I are no longer WW employees because now I feel that we can safely speak our mind. But what's something
Hmm.
speaking on behalf of Rachel, but one thing that's interesting is with WW and the way the point system works, non-fat Greek yogurt would be 0 points, whereas full-fat Greek yogurt would definitely have some points. And I've heard that before, how the non-fat or the low-fat or the fat-free, you're not really getting the full benefit of the food when they're adding a lot of extra things to it to have it taste a certain way. So it kind of affirmed something when you said it, and of course in moderation, because sometimes the fuller fat things can be higher in caloric density. But I'm thinking, like, this is beyond losing weight. This is creating a healthy person inside and out, looking into some of those things. And maybe if you are a Weight Watcher, using your points intentionally to incorporate some of those more healthy fats or those things that are going to support your gut health. So it's pretty interesting using Rachel's point.
Absolutely.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It is.
It's intriguing.
So yes, mixing it up. I absolutely love that you say that, Maggie, because that is what you just described is the approach that I take with my clients. When we're working together, even if their goal is losing weight, to me, that is almost a secondary goal, if that makes sense, because I want to work on nourishing your body, nourishing your organs so that they can work properly, and then you let go of weight. Like, it's going to happen once you balance. But I love that you say that, because the approach of nourishing the body with nutrients is truly what is going to bring you to optimal health and sustainable health for longer.
And we talk about that a lot too. Like that, we've had members say that too, right? I'm on a health and wellness journey with a side effect of weight loss, because we are wanting to heal. That was one of the things that kept me going. Was when I had first started my journey, and my cycle was extremely off, and I just thought, oh, that's just how I am. And within 30 days of eating nutritionally dense food and drinking my water and getting activity, I have yet to have a non-regular cycle. And so from then on, I was like, oh my gosh, I did that. Like I healed that part of my body. And then with my mom being diagnosed with diabetes, and within the first 4 months, I think it was, the doctor took her off her meds because she no longer needed it, because she could regulate it with the foods that she was taking and with her activity. So I am such a firm believer in healing from the inside out. I really 100% am. Okay, so gut health. So we need those. I'm telling you guys, Madison, because Madison has a website, y'all. So I will have the link to her website and her info. If you guys are like, wait a minute, I have more questions for Madison, you can absolutely find Madison online.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, I swear, I'm gonna be like emailing Madison again. Like, wait a minute, what was that one thing you said? So okay, so gut health. So what's another one that we want to look at? Something else that we can kind of easily integrate into our life.
Yeah, so something actually that I'll tell all of my clients usually, and this is something that, everybody can take with them and start incorporating today, is, we want to be eating as many nutrients as we can. When I build a meal, when I build a plate, I don't think, okay, let's just throw these things together. It sounds good, whatever. I always think, okay, I'm looking at the fridge. What can I piece together, and what can I add to give this meal a higher nutrient density? And so a super, super, super easy way to do that is to eat the rainbow. And I don't know, maybe some people on here have heard that before. I feel like I had heard it before school, but it wasn't like in the front of my mind. And now it's
in our
truly
WW workshops. That's something we talked about, eating
by.
the rainbow.
We've had a technique. They even had a whole launch on our social media platform Connect, where they were encouraging us to share pictures of our plates, and every day of the week had a different color that we featured. So they should be fairly familiar with it. Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. I absolutely love that, that they promoted that, because truly, it is the easiest way, I feel like, to incorporate a variety of nutrients at
Mhm.
every single meal.
Mhm.
So, our goal is to be having vitamins and minerals that um, are that vary. They all do something different within the body. And so, like, for instance, I think of red, orange, and yellow vegetables. They are super high in beta carotene, which turns into vitamin A in the body. It has vitamin C, it has potassium. And those things, those vitamins, they influence things like fighting infection, good vision. It
Nice.
helps our heart, our lungs. I think of like green vegetables, they're high in B vitamins. Same thing, A, C, E, K, all of those vitamins. So, Maggie?
I was just reminded of a non-scale victory. So, I had gotten my eyesight checked. Like I wear contacts and eyeglasses and everything. And I had gotten my, semi annual checkup, but I was at a new doctor, and they had some old charts. Anyway, they were like, "Whoa, your eyesight, you've actually improved your eyesight." And I was like, "We can
Yeah.
do that?" And they
Yeah.
said either you've been improving like your food choices, or like you were in a big season of stress and straining in your last checkup. And I was like, could
Mm,
be both. I don't know, but I said I feel like I'm eating more vegetables and carrots, and I think I improved my eyesight. I don't know. I
That's
don't
yes.
funny.
I have no doubt. I
know.
have no doubt it was that food. That is
Yeah. I had that happen
amazing.
the last time I went
I
to the
So
genuinely
doctor.
proud.
just was reminded of that because you're talking
I
about,
know.
yeah, it's so
Was the last
cool.
time I
I'm
went,
like,
I remember the
Yeah.
doctor. He didn't believe it. He was like, "No." He tested me like he kept doing extra tests to the point where he even took me out in the hallway and just like kept getting further back because he couldn't believe
yeah,
that my eyesight had gotten
He's like, no
better
way.
after so many years, and I was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. How I
It's
totally forgot about that
encouraging.
too.
No.
So
Yeah,
encouraging. Yeah.
No, and see, right here we have an example of what we're talking about, right? You eat those nutrients, and that was a healing,
hmm
inside of your body that then is coming out.
Yeah.
So it's incredible.
And
That is so cool.
I'm sure just like with managing gut health and things, like it all takes consistency and patience and time. Like we didn't do that by
Yes.
just eating the one
yeah,
carrot. And I feel like we live in a
Yes.
world where we want the immediate results, but
Hmm.
I think, like you said, you have to bring yourself back from
hmm
the bad bacteria, or bring yourself back, and that stuff just takes time and it takes consistency. And it's like, dang, like I really need to eat the rainbow like for the rest of my life.
yeah,
And I
For the
I
rest.
I
Yep.
really like, what's made me more aware too is if I do have like a less nutrient dense meal where it's like mostly brown, I'll like have a moment of awareness over that, of like, oh,
Mm.
like should I add a side salad or just something
Mm.
colorful to
yes.
this? And like you said, what can
Right?
I add to it? Not, oh, let me just take the side of fries away. It's like, well, what can I just incorporate with it so it feels a little more well rounded? So yeah,
Okay,
totally can
Totally.
relate to
I
that.
Totally.
remember when Madison, I think you had either just finished school, maybe, but I remember you posting a
Hmm.
picture on your Instagram, so this is years ago, of a sandwich. And you would just think a
Yeah.
normal sandwich, but your sandwich was fancy. You had like sprouts in it. Like
Girl.
you really like leveled
Mm.
up that sandwich. And I was like, wow, just something as simple
Yeah.
as a sandwich. Like you can add so many more layers to that. Just something that easy.
Totally. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. It can be anything. I mean, even in the morning, I try to think, let's say that I am having, sometimes I'll make like an acai bowl,
Yeah.
something easy, or, yogurt with some fruit. But then I think, okay, let's not just do the fruit. What else can I add? Chia seeds, flax seeds, a little bit of
Oh,
raw honey. I some people have a reaction to this, so you gotta read the labels, but like bee pollen has a lot of vitamins in it. I'll sprinkle some of that on there. I just try to think, okay, what's gonna, number one,
yeah.
make this absolutely delicious, but number two, just really, really
Yeah.
elevate it nutrient wise. And truly, I love that you said, Maggie, about the consistency. I always tell my clients it's
Mm-hmm.
going to take time to heal. I know that you want to see that quick fix. You want to see all of your symptoms disappear
Yeah.
tomorrow. I get it. I have been there. But the fact of the matter is, it took time to get to this place. It's going to take time to heal. And that is okay because we are learning what your body needs, what it wants, what it's craving. And then this is sustainable. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
last your whole life, right? So it's important to remember that too. Healing takes
I
time.
think I was
So
saying last week how
yeah.
I'm re-listening to Dr. Gary Foster's The Shift, and today when I had it on in the car, like he was talking about how when people set goals, for so many, we want a challenge. So it's like, oh, I have ice cream every
Mm,
day, I can't have that anymore, so I will never eat ice cream ever again, instead of making more
Mm-mm.
sustainable goals. Because like, if we're like, okay, maybe
mm-hmm.
you have a cookie every day at 3 o'clock, okay, so maybe the goal this week is 3 days out of your week you swap that cookie for a banana. That doesn't feel like a challenge
Love that.
sometimes, so we're like, ah, I can do that, that's too easy, that's too easy. But those are the things that are going to stick, is those easy things that we integrate
Yes.
and they become that habit, that healthy habit. Because I've mentioned before adding spinach
Mm-hmm.
to my breakfast because I don't do a lot of milk and cheese, and
Yep.
I realized I was very low on my calcium intake, and spinach is very high in calcium. I don't even notice it anymore. Like
Mm.
I don't even taste the spinach in my eggs, but I will if I don't have it. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
oh, I need to get spinach. And it's funny because I literally
You feel it.
started putting it in there strictly for the nutritional value of it, not because it was something I craved,
Right.
but I knew
Yeah.
I was lacking calcium, and that was something that could help me get it. And that was an easy add, and that's been a
Right.
habit now for years for me. It was such an easy add into my day.
Yeah. What I
Love that.
loved about what Madison said, I mean, like, I've really hooked onto it because it's just resonated with me, was just this idea of what to add.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, even though maybe you don't want to eat a cookie every day, maybe you do want to change that behavior, but like, even if you're just starting out, it's like, I'm gonna have some fruit with my
Oh
cookie.
yeah.
Add in some fruit, or like I used to just do a turkey sandwich with some chips or crackers, and it's like, well, now let me add some carrots to that as an
Mm.
extra side, instead of thinking about, oh, I'm gonna take away my Pitos or my Cheez-Its or whatever. Like, let me just throw in a veggie
Yeah.
because the color, it sparks joy to see colorful
Yep.
meals. It really does, I think. Once you shift and you start to see what it looks like, because it's really fun, and especially we're approaching spring and summer, and all the fun summer fruits and vegetables, but it also, you miss it when your plate doesn't look like that. You
Mm-hmm.
just,
Mm-hmm.
you do start to notice, but it does take time, like you said.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. It's
And
so simple.
something, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but for myself and for most of my clients actually too, when they start incorporating those nutrient dense foods, you start to crave them. Like you know, processed foods or whatever, they still taste good and stuff. But for myself, I remember when I started incorporating those really truly nutrient dense foods, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted those more than I wanted the processed foods because I think I could feel what it was doing to my body. I was feeling better. I had more energy, all of that. And so it's really cool to see, how food truly affects us in a positive or
Oh
a
yeah.
negative way too.
Well,
Um,
and
it's
recognizing
it's
that though,
crazy.
when we, like you said, if you feel lethargic after you eat,
Yeah.
what did you have? But if you're noticing, because one of the
Yes.
other things that I noticed when I added my spinach to my eggs in the morning is how much fuller I was in the morning, and how much more sharp I was first thing having my
Mm,
fiber, because I have my eggs and my avocado and my grapes and my green tea. It was just such a good combo for
yep.
me.
You're such a health queen. You're
My
such a health queen.
breakfast.
You
Yeah,
just said
don't look at the
You
rest of
so
my
are.
many
day.
healthy things
You
back to back. I
are.
was like, woo.
Yeah, it's
You're
but
so
acknowledging that
healthy.
feeling and craving that feeling, I think, can be very beneficial because we
Yeah.
don't notice sometimes. We just kind of go
Mhm.
about our day, but taking a moment to be like, I feel
Yep.
good. This feels good today. Like that's a great acknowledgement and a celebration. And when you celebrate those little wins, like that's just something you'll
Totally.
crave that too, that sense of accomplishment and pride and all of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sundrops, we were talking off the record, just kind of prepping Madison for the conversation, and she mentioned like supplements was something she felt that she might address during today's episode. And so I just kind of, while we were talking about vitamins and minerals and all of that, Madison, I wanted to get your thoughts on greens, like green
Oh.
powders. Because I've
Mhm.
heard mixed things because yes, you can get those benefits from the fruits and vegetables in your diet. You don't need to purchase a green powder on top of it. However, like for someone who might just be looking for convenience or maybe they just aren't in a place yet where they're really craving consistent fruits and veggies, but they do like the taste of like their greens and water. Like
Mm-hmm.
what's your take on that supplement in particular?
Yeah, so I that's a really good question. I have seen success with the greens. I will say that the way that I work with people, it's from a more bio-individual standpoint. So, meaning what works for one person might not work for another one. And so sometimes I'll see a client who maybe needs additional greens. And so we'll
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about that type of powder. But others may be able to get it from food. Now, I'm always going to say try your best to get it from food because you're also going to get the
Mm,
fiber of like the skins of the vegetables that you're eating,
yeah.
the water from them as well, which contributes to hydration.
Mm,
But, you know, if you are either maybe it is more convenient like you said or you're kind of working up to incorporating more vegetables, I would say that it's still a really good option for supplementation.
mhm.
Something else too to say is our food now, and this is like a whole other topic probably, but a whole other episode. But the soil is that we have here is not as rich as it once was, and so therefore our food is not as full in vitamins and minerals as it should be, unfortunately. So it can be good to supplement with a green powder or some other type of um, supplementation that is pure. I want to say too, if somebody's considering like a green powder or supplement really of any kind, again, I go back to quality because if that supplement is full of additives or chemicals, which you think, why are you putting that in there? That is unnecessary. But, you know,
Hmm.
companies do. They add these additives and unfortunately they block the
Oh.
benefit for us. So we could be taking this supplement. We could be taking, let's say it's like the other day actually, I was talking with somebody and they were going to go get vitamin D drops. And I said, okay, grab some. They showed them to me, but they had like xanthan gum in it. They had natural flavors, which is chemicals. And I said, unfortunately, this is going to block the benefit of the vitamin D and you're not going to be able to fully absorb. So, just that
Mm-hmm.
side note, talking about the green powder, whatever supplement you're getting, quality is going to matter. You're going to want to make sure that it's pure. But in terms of the green powder, I say that, it doesn't hurt to have that extra kick of greens, that extra kick of, nutrients. But again, purity is
Mm,
key for that
yeah.
I like
supplement.
that. So what I'm hearing though is
Thanks,
it
Madison.
does make a great kind of like sidekick to our whole foods. Like what like yeah, always
Yeah.
revert back to the whole
I don't think
foods.
we should rely.
Yeah, not
Yeah, I
relying
don't think
on
we
the
should
grains,
rely
but
on it.
have it be like that extra
But
kick. Yeah.
I just noticed it's like a
Yes.
hot take supplement right now. Like
Really?
a lot of the girlies on the TikTok, yeah, they got their greens. There's so many different companies now.
Yeah.
I mean, I even work with a supplement company
Yeah.
that offers greens, and I drink them. But I also
Mhm.
have a fruit and or veggie at every meal. So
Mhm.
it's like, is it really necessary? I don't know, but it tastes good, and I'm like, well, I'm doing something
Yeah.
for
Oh,
myself,
yeah.
So then I was like, let me ask like someone who's actually, knowledgeable in this, because like you said, Madison, there's so much misinformation online, and I feel like
Mhm.
for someone who's just starting out, it can be so overwhelming. So
Mm. Oh, absolutely. And there's, yeah, it's nice to just kind of condense it and know like, all right, yeah, we're gonna always take a food first approach, but there we can also have a supplement
Mhm.
hold hands with that, and like it's still gonna be beneficial for your
Well, I
body.
like
So
that. Okay,
yeah.
so Maggie was saying, for those of us who maybe haven't thought about these things before, right? I think we have a good couple places to start with, right? We're going to think about our gut health, maybe look into some of those things. I shout out to Bob NYC. Hi, Bob. Whenever I think of kombucha tea, I think of Bob. He used to always have one. That was like his kick for a while, with his kombucha tea. And I see it at the store, and I've never purchased
Oh,
it. So maybe that's gonna be my goal this week, is to try that. I think I need to try some. Yeah.
try it.
So we're thinking about our gut health,
Yeah,
and then
it's good.
some form of the rainbow this week. And like Maggie said, if you're like really have
Yes.
this very set habit, maybe don't try to get rid of that. Just maybe add to it. Maybe add a fruit, maybe add a veggie to something you're already currently doing. And then maybe we could eventually kind of phase that
Mhm.
other one out. But I like that idea, Maggie, because like I said, sometimes we try to go so big, so fast, so soon. We feel deprived. We feel like
Mhm.
we can't. We're never going to be successful when we don't do it. And but like I said, like that easy one for me was that spinach.
Yeah.
So what's an easy thing for us to think about that we
right.
can add to our day? So I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I've even told Madison, I was like, Madison, I might want to have you on like quarterly to talk about like the healthy
Well,
side
yeah,
of
because
this.
I feel like we really only skimmed the
Yeah.
surface of what I mean. Madison's a wealth of
Yeah.
knowledge, and it like I said, I knew like as soon as she started talking, my brain was just gonna
Yeah.
start going
Yeah.
berserk, because this is why I mean
Love it.
I do have such a strong passion for a lot of what WW teaches, because I do feel
Same.
that if you follow the point system, it points you to these nutrient dense foods,
Mhm.
and I feel like a lot of folks
Mm.
underutilize that aspect of the program when it comes to 0 point foods and eating fruits and vegetables in abundance, or eating the proteins and those kinds of things, the foods that are packed with fiber. Like,
Yeah.
I just feel that there are so many folks that aren't recognizing, like, to live a healthy life you might have to adapt some of the things that you once liked, or you might have to try new things that are out of your comfort zone and give it time, like keep an open mind to this, because like I mean our health is so precious, and I'm already like analyzing my own digestion. I'm like, because I'm one of the people where I was like, yeah, I'm regular, like I go pretty much every day, and I used to joke, like, because I run a lot, and I didn't really have to think about or like rehearse what I was going to eat, because I was just like,
Mhm.
oh, I have a stomach that's like a tank, like I can just do whatever. And now I'm like,
Mm.
oh man, like was I really missing like an opportunity here? So it's definitely like
Mm.
very eye opening, and I hope that from anything we take from Madison, that like it's just worth to look at this beyond weight loss, and to
Yes.
look at it as just overall healthy
Yeah.
lifestyle, like what that can really look
Mhm.
like, and it doesn't necessarily mean eliminating everything. I also want to go compare like non-fat to full fat in the grocery store to see like how different
Yeah.
the calories really are, because I
Good.
mean, like, I'm sure it's not even that extreme, and then to know that I'm forsaking some of these awesome benefits just to
Mhm.
like hit lower calories, like, is it worth it?
Mm.
Like it's just gonna get the gears turning for me this
Right?
week for
I know,
sure.
I'm telling you, as
Mhm.
soon as I thought about it, I was like, oh, Madison, I have an idea. And I just thought it was just going to be the coolest thing to have this conversation with her. Because, like you said, Maggie, with WW, we get guided towards the 0 point foods. And for those of you who are not on WW, 0 point foods tend to be basically all fruits and veggies, unless you are uh, logged in that you are living with diabetes. Then your fruit is going to have points.
Yeah.
But it helps us have that healthy relationship with these other foods. But then once we get to that point where we are having a healthier relationship with food and we're understanding it, now in my mind, and I've been on this journey since 2020, I'm just now thinking, cool, now I want to get down into the nitty gritty. Now I want to really understand what this food is doing to my body and how it can benefit my body. And that's the conversation I wanted to have.
Yeah, I'm gonna be so excited. I'm making a pasta salad this week with the pasta and lots of different colored bell peppers and red onion and black beans and chickpeas. And I'm just gonna be thinking of Madison, like with all these colors, and like I'm gonna be like, wow, like I'm doing all this awesome stuff for my body, and it like tastes good and it looks fun, And so I was already excited about what I'd planned, but now I'm like even more excited about it because I just know it's such a great investment in us, to do that, to have the colorful.
Well, like Madison said, that we could literally talk about this for hours, but we don't have that much time, guys. So it is now time for our goals and recommendations. And I warned Madison ahead of time that this is something we do, and that I would love if she had one also. So Madison, do you have a goal and a recommendation for this week?
Yeah. Well, I would say my recommendation is definitely, what we've talked about, right? When you're in the store, grab another color. Grab something that is a different color that maybe you would not usually grab. So that's my recommendation. My goal, this is something that I love that you guys do this because I thought of this yesterday. I was thinking about exercise, and exercise has always been something that I enjoy maybe when I'm doing it, but I just feel like I'm dragging beforehand. I don't want to, right? But I was thinking yesterday, and this is my goal. I want to start to shift my mindset to I get to exercise. My body is a temple and I want to take care of it, and exercise is part of that, and I am grateful that I can do that. So that's my goal.
This is the coach in me. Yeah, the coach in my brain. So how are you going to implement this? What is something that can help keep that top of mind to make it something that is a benefit for you and provided to you that you're like,
not a chore.
What do you think is something you could do that'll help keep that top of mind?
Honestly, so we just got a puppy. Well, it was a few months ago. And I think that obviously she loves to go out, but I'm going to start thinking of it more of, okay, I have to take her out. Not that, but instead, I get to go. I'm going to go take a walk, and maybe even throughout my day when I'm making a meal, what nutrients can I add? But also, what can I do today to move my body and enjoy it? Like pick things that I enjoy.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that too. You have your puppy, and Madison's not far from the dog park in our town. So yeah, I think that's so fun.
Oh, wow.
I know.
So
Yay! Well, those are good. Okay, so I'll go next, and then we'll have Maggie wrap it up. So my goal this week is it's finally not raining every day here, and I really miss being outside. I know. I can see the sunlight on Madison right now. It's glorious. I
know.
I want to go for a walk, but not only that, I want my husband to come with me this week. So I want to schedule a walk for me and my husband to go on this week, and I'm thinking probably Thursday because it's supposed to be raining again on Wednesday, but it's supposed to be very nice on Thursday. So I'm going to go for a walk on Thursday. And then my recommendation is I've told you guys about Dr. William Lee. He has that new book out, so which I talked to Madison about it too, because I'm telling you, he's so much of what I'm reading in his book is a lot of what Madison talks about too, about how food has so much benefit for your body. So that's what was my goal and my recommendation last week. So my recommendation this week though is go to Madison's website if you have any questions. If you're like, what, I really want to dig into this a little bit more, like I said, I'm going to have the link in our show notes, and it's going to be on the blog post, and I'll have her tagged too on some of our social media posts, because she does have some social media as well, so it'll be easier for you guys to find her. So ask the questions, you know what I mean, like figure it out. So I think it could be really fun for us. So I'm going to go for a walk is my goal, and then go check out Madison is my recommendation. All right, Maggie, bring it home.
I already followed Madison's Health Never Ceasing Instagram,
she has some great reels.
I'm going to peruse that later on. Yeah, and I love reels. So that'll be so fun. My star goal is I want to try kombucha because I've never tried it before, and I don't really
Try
eat a
it.
lot of like fermented things. I mean, that's not like that's totally missing on my radar. So I want to try kombucha, maybe do like a taste test on the
I
Instagram.
know, me too. Maybe we'll do a split
And
screen.
oh yeah, we should do it live on a
I
podcast
know.
recording now. That would be fun. And then
You should. Oh my gosh.
my recommendation. So we were, this was kind of sparked by our conversation in terms of what can we add. So I pretty much every day without fail drink a Fairlife
Mhm.
protein drink, and they're my favorite. I love the chocolate. But today I tried something new. I saw it on TikTok, so I can't take credit for it. But you put some frozen mixed berries, and I just got like a bag of frozen mix from like the freezer
Mhm.
section in the store, but I think it might actually be cheaper to like buy your own berries and then freeze them.
Oh.
Like, I don't know. I'm gonna look into that because I was surprised by the cost of frozen fruit. I never buy frozen fruit, so I was like,
Mm.
whoa. But anyway, mix berries in like a glass jar or a glass cup, and then you pour your protein drink over top. You don't completely cover the
Ooh.
berries, like I would say 3/4 of the way. You let it
Ooh.
sit for like 3 to 5 minutes, and it solidifies, and then you can mash it with your fork, and it becomes like an ice cream consistency. So it's like fruit
What?
Oh
and
my gosh.
chocolate ice cream. And I was skeptical at first because they say like, "Oh, this is a fun treat." And I was like, "Yeah, right. It's like
Yeah.
a protein drink and fruit." But like, no, it was so good. I'm gonna make it again.
Well, my mom
So
is a Fairlife
that's
drinker
for
Mm.
me
now
to add
because
some
of Maggie,
fruit.
so I'm sure she's gonna try this too because Maggie said so.
Yeah, like it felt like a full blown dessert, and I put a little Ready Whip on top, and
What?
it was like a
You
whole
got all
Yeah.
fancy
moment.
with it?
Yeah, that wasn't in the TikTok. I
Yes,
pivoted on
that's
that.
my little spice.
Well, whenever I can add Ready Whip, because that's what I give my dog. I'll give her like a little squirt of it. She gets so
Oh my
excited.
god, that's
So,
so cute.
um,
Oh.
but yeah, so would recommend that particular treat
Cool.
taste, snack combo.
I like
Yeah.
it.
All right. Did you want me to share the quote,
Yes. Do you have
Rachel?
our quote ready?
Okay. I do have our quote. Well, and of course, thank you to Madison for
Yes.
joining us today. It was such a pleasure, and it was so nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
Literally an angel. The quote is, "A healthy outside starts from the inside."
Mhm.
I would agree
I
with
know.
that.
All right, guys. So
All
if I, like
right.
I said,
It's
I
so
might
true.
have Madison back again because, like Maggie said, we just scratched the surface with this topic. So thank you so much, Madison, and guys.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Have a
Dropping
magical day.
by.
Bye.